The politics lead now amidst a presidential impeachment involving a withheld White House meeting for the president of Ukraine. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo canceled his planned trip to Ukraine, where he would have met with Ukrainian President Zelensky. The State Department saying Pompeo did so in order to monitor the violence surrounding the Iraqi embassy. This news comes as new reporting from the website Just Security is showing us what's behind some of those black lines in the redacted emails the Trump administration was forced to hand over to those requesting it, which include warnings from the Pentagon that the hold on military aid to Ukraine broke the law and that the decision to withhold the aid came right from the top, as CNN's Sarah Murray reports.
In the face of warnings from the Pentagon that holding nearly $400 million in Ukraine aid could be illegal, a top budget official made it clear the orders were coming directly from the president. Clear direction from POTUS to continue to hold. Michael Duffy, a top Office of Management and Budget official, wrote in an email to Defense Department Comptroller Elaine McCusker on August 30th. National security-focused website Just Security reviewed the unredacted emails, which had previously been released by the Trump administration with heavy redactions. The emails reportedly show that weeks earlier, McCusker flagged concerns that if the hold wasn't lifted soon, the Pentagon couldn't guarantee all of the money would reach Ukraine in time. The emails highlight the finger-pointing between OMB and the Defense Department over the freeze on Ukraine funds. Today, an OMB spokesperson said there was agreement every step of the way between DOD and OMB lawyers who were responsible for working out the details of the hold, in line with the president's priorities. Defense Department officials disagreed. One said, "We were always concerned about the ramifications of holding the military assistance to Ukraine." The new details come as the impeachment proceedings remain in limbo. White House aides were in touch with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's office over the holidays. But when the Senate returns tomorrow, McConnell plans to continue business as usual until Nancy Pelosi officially transmits the articles of impeachment.
Other House Democrats seem to be suggesting they'd prefer never to transmit the articles. Fine with me.
Now, Democratic lawmakers, including Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, are already seizing on these emails, pointing to them as evidence that any kind of fair trial in the Senate is going to need to include documents and witnesses from the Trump administration. Jake.
All right, Sarah Murray, thanks so much. And this is how Nancy Pelosi just responded to these new emails in a tweet. Trump engaged in unprecedented total obstruction of Congress, hiding these emails, all other documents, and his top aides from the American people. His excuse was a phony complaint about the House process. What's the excuse now? Why won't Trump and McConnell allow a fair trial? What do you make of that argument, Aisha?
Well, I think that it is something that they're going to really drill down on. And these unredacted emails, they really do raise questions because you had the OMB General Counsel has sent a letter to the GAO basically saying that they had held up this money and that the reason why they held up this money, but it didn't really make a big difference, that DOD was telling them that there was no risk that this money wouldn't go out. But what you see in these emails is the direct opposite of what OMB said, that there was a risk that this money was going to be held up and that there was a legal concern. And this goes to the heart of what kind of Republicans have been saying, that this was just people, this was just the deep state. They just disagreed with policy. But the concerns that were being raised were not about policy. They were about legal issues. People in the DOD thought that this was illegal, that they were withholding this money.
And here's this one unredacted email from August 30th of last year from Michael Duffy. He's a Office of Management and Budget official, to Elaine McCusker. She's a Pentagon comptroller. It mentions the, quote, clear direction from POTUS, that's President of the United States, to continue to hold. And this obviously flies right in the face of those who are saying there's nothing tying President Trump to this.
Yeah, and I don't think that many people actually believed that. Like the number of people
they keep saying it, though. No. The House Republicans.
I'm not talking about elected officials. I'm actually talking about normal people.
Real people.
Normal people. The number who think it was a perfect call and that there was nothing here is fairly low. The question is, again, whether that rises to the point that they want him removed, and that's a real open question. I'm not real sure what we're doing at this point. Are we going to transmit the articles of impeachment? Are we going to redo the thing in the House because we have more information? Are they just asking to be in control of the Senate's rules? And all of that sounded like gobbledygook. That's what it sounds like to normal people as well. And it will continue to sound like that, which is why this is sort of stagnant and has been for quite some time. and that part matters for these proceedings.
But I would say yes and no, right? If Democrats keep it very simple, which is the president of the United States should tell the truth. Why are you blocking material evidence? Because every time in the last couple of weeks we've gotten new information, it undermines the president. So it looks like he's using his power to protect himself. And why won't you let these people come forward and testify? Now, when we went through the House proceedings, Republicans kept saying, well, these people don't have direct knowledge. Okay, so now Schumer is saying we want people with direct knowledge. This report gives us more information.
The one from Just Security.
Yes, Just Security gives us, and actually the New York Times, even earlier this week, gives us more information of exactly what kind of direct knowledge these individuals had and their participation. So I think if Democrats, now that they're in this phase of negotiating, I'm sure tomorrow is going to be full of lots of bluster on the Senate floor. That'll be great. However, I think this gives Schumer and Pelosi some leverage. It's not just about Mitch McConnell. It's about those senators who are vulnerable. It is right?
Right. I think doesn't move the needle with those enough Republicans. 4 Republican senators, what would be needed for anything at the end of the day, 51 votes wins. I haven't seen that yet. You know, you have Collins and Murkowski who express concerns, but then they also say we're concerned with the democratic process. Or in Murkowski's case, she said, I'm open to waiting to punt on the witnesses until after the case. So if they're not willing to get behind Democrats in this push for firsthand witnesses and documents, it's just not going to happen.
You look like you were about to say something.
No, I'm just skeptical that there's enough enthusiasm on this issue, on the issue of witnesses inside a Senate trial among normal Americans to put enough pressure on a couple of senators for them to go, oh yeah, we're going to change the way we do this. I don't see it happening.
And Buck McConnell, it's very hard to imagine.
The president venting about a lot of things on Twitter today, as is his wont. He quoted a conservative commentator from the New York Post saying, quote, it seems the Democrats have shot themselves in the foot in one more way, and this president is being persecuted over 3 years with one investigation after another, and that really plays to his base. It's an argument to make because, I mean, things are not clear cut here. We had the impeachment proceeding, and then it's just kind of, as Mary Catherine points out, it's just kind of on hold, and we're not really sure what's going to happen.
And the country is divided, right? Like, even though some polls have showed that the majority of the country thinks that he did something wrong, that the president did something wrong, they are divided on what happens next. And so I think probably what you're having now is the Democrats trying to decide what type of pressure they can really put on President Trump. He was saying that he wanted a trial, but in the past few days, he's kind of been, hinting that maybe he doesn't care what happens. I think he wants to be vindicated. I think he's going to want some type of trial, but it's not clear how much the Democrats are really going to be able to dictate that.
But are the Democrats putting enough pressure directly on Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, any other vulnerable Republican with ads, with Democratic grassroots activists? I mean, I haven't seen that.
I agree with you. I haven't seen enough of it. I think there have been some efforts. It was a little bit challenging, I think, during the holidays. Now that we're back in January, I think it'll be a lot easier. And again, as long as they keep it simple, I think there is a very fair argument to be made about the facts and the truth.